This video explains how to get divorced in the Netherlands. This video is intended for partners who are Dutch nationals, as well as partners who both live in the Netherlands. Also, this video is intended for partners where one of both of them lives in the Netherlands and they choose to divorce together. In addition, this video is intended for partners, one of whom lives in the Netherlands for more than 6 months and has a Dutch nationality. Finally, this video is intended for partners, one of whom does not have the Dutch nationality, but has lived in the Netherlands for more than 1 year. Partners who are married and no longer wish to remain together may choose to divorce. There are 3 ways to do this. The most common type of separation is divorce. After a divorce, partners have nothing more to do with each other except, for example, if they have children together or spousal support must be paid. In addition to a divorce, there's also a legal separation. In a legal separation, partners remain married but no longer live together. In this, partners still have the rights and obligation of marriage. One reason to choose this divorce if divorce is not allowed by a religion, for example, or if it is easier for money reasons. Registered partners can also divorce. This goes pretty much the same way as marriage. More on this in a moment. Each method of divorce requires a lawyer. If you choose to divorce together, you only need one lawyer. If not, then both partners need their own lawyer. Once a method of divorce has been chosen, it is time to take the first step. This is done with a petition for divorce to the court. A petition is used to file for divorce. It should include the first names, last names, and address information of both partners. If the partners have children under the age of 18, it must also contain their information. The petition must also include a parenting plan. This contains agreements about the care and upbringing of the children. If necessary, other things may also be included in the petition. For example, partners can ask the court in their petition to decide on the division of their belongings, who will continue to live in the house, and, if they have children, how and when the partners will see their children. When parents want to end a registered partnership, they agree together and they have no children under the age of 18, they do not have to go to court. However, a lawyer or notary public is then needed. Together with the lawyer or notary, an agreement is made in which, in any case, is stated that they want to end the registered partnership. It should also include agreements on things like the division of property, alimony, the house, and the division of property. The lawyer or notary and the partners must sign the agreement. Partners who want to end a registered partnership and do have children must go to court, just like marriage. Again, a parenting plan must be made. If only one of the parents wants to end the registered partnership, the process is the same as for a divorce. The volunteers of the Leiden Migrant Support Office will be happy to help you find a lawyer or notary. Once all the documents have been received by the court, a date will be announced for a hearing. During a hearing, the judge will look at the petition for divorce. It is not mandatory to be present, but it is allowed. For example, it might be useful or helpful to be present because one or both partners can then say something to the judge that might be important for his decision. At the end of the hearing, the judge then tells you when he will make the decision. Sometimes there's no hearing. For example, if partners file the petition together and they have no children between the ages of 12 and 18. If there's no hearing, the judge decides based on the petition. A few weeks after the hearing, the judge makes a decision. This is sent home to the partners through their lawyer. If both or either partner disagrees with the court's decision, they can appeal to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals will then review the case completely. If both or either of the partners still disagree about the divorce, then they can appeal to the Supreme Court of the Netherlands. The Supreme Court then does not review the case again, but does look to see if everything has been done correctly. To make a divorce, legal separation, or termination of a registered partnership final, then the court's decision must be registered in the civil registry at the municipality. This can be done by the partners themselves, but is best done by a lawyer. It is also important to note that this must be done within 6 months of receiving the decision. Only once the divorce has been registered at the municipality and processed is the divorce finalized. Here are some important things that need to be taken care of during a divorce. If a person is getting divorced and they have a residence permit, the divorce may affect the validity of the permit. For example, in some cases, an ex-partner may not be allowed to stay in the Netherlands after the divorce is finalized. The volunteers of the Leiden Migrant Support Office will be happy to help you find out what needs to be arranged if you or your partner who has a residence permit gets divorced. Also useful to arrange during a divorce is making arrangements about belongings, money, the house, and children. For example, partners may want to sell their home together, or the lease may need to be amended. It is also wise to make agreements about pensions, the joint bank account, debts, and taxes. For partners who cannot work this out together, it is useful to do this with a lawyer or mediator. If partners previously had health insurance together, it should be transferred to their own name. There's also the right to spousal support if you are short of money after the divorce. It is also important to pass on the divorce to the agencies from which one or both ex-partners receive an allowance or benefit. That amount can change. Finally, it is useful to know that divorce costs money. If the costs of a lawyer or mediator are too high, sometimes you have to pay less. The government can sometimes pay part of the costs. This is called an addition. If one or both partners needs this, it must be arranged through a lawyer or mediator. The lawyer can request the addition from the Legal Aid Board, which then decides whether an addition is possible.